In the summer of 1924, an 8-year-old boy vanishes from a quiet Staten Island neighborhood, and the nightmare is only beginning. The man behind his disappearance would strike again, and again. Little did anyone know they were hunting one of the most disturbing predators in American history. This is Murder at Midnight. July 14th, 1924, Port Richmond, Staten Island. On this day, Francis McDonnell is reported missing by his family after he doesn't return home at night. As the sun sets, casting long shadows across the neighbourhood, his parents' worry turns to despair. They begin searching the area, calling out his name with voices filled with anxiety and fear. Just 8 years old, Francis is a lively child known for his curiosity and adventurous spirit. He often spends hours playing outside, and everyone expects him to come home like he always has. As the hours stretch on, panic sets in. Neighbours, alerted by the commotion, step outside to offer their help. They join the frantic search, combing through backyards, alleyways and nearby parks. Hopes flicker, but there's no sign of the young boy. The streets, usually filled with laughter and play, now feel eerily quiet. Parents exchange worried glances, their hearts heavy with the realization that this is no ordinary night. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, they decide to reach out to the police. Officers arrive, their presence both reassuring and daunting. They begin asking questions, wanting to know where Francis was last seen, what he was wearing, and who he was with. This routine procedure carries a heavy weight as the officers take notes, their faces serious while gathering information. As night falls, the darkness thickens, amplifying the anxiety that envelops the community. The search continues into the night, their flashlights cutting through the darkness as friends and family scour the nearby woods, calling for Francis, hoping to hear his familiar voice. The chill of the evening settles in, but no one is ready to give up. Each passing minute feels like an eternity, gnawing at their hearts with worry. There's a sense of urgency in the air, a feeling that something is terribly wrong. Days pass, and a group of local men still searching stumbles upon a body in the woods not far from where Francis was last seen. A wave of disbelief washes over them as they rush to confirm their worst fears. It's a heartbreaking moment for the family and the entire community. The news spreads quickly, leaving a trail of sorrow in its wake. The loss weighs heavily on everyone. Friends gather to support the grieving family, bringing food and comfort. But no gesture of kindness can fill the void left by Francis's absence. The community is reeling, while grappling with the harsh reality of their situation. Kids who once played with Francis now look at the world with a new sense of fear, their laughter replaced with silence. As investigators begin their work, they piece together the events leading up to this tragedy. They interview neighbours, searching for any clues that might lead them to answers. Everyone is desperate to know how this could happen. How could a young boy vanish without a trace? The questions swirl, zest, and each person feels the urgency of finding justice for Francis. The police work diligently, gathering evidence and combing through the area for anything that might help them understand the circumstances surrounding his disappearance. The woods, once a place of adventure for Francis, now feel sinister and foreboding. The community watches anxiously, hoping for a breakthrough while struggling with their grief. In the days that follow, more details emerge. The community unites in support, holding vigils and memorials to honour Francis's memory. Candles flicker in the night, casting a warm glow against the backdrop of sorrow. People gather to share stories, remembering the joyful spirit of the boy who was taken too soon. Each shared memory serves as a reminder of the laughter that once filled the streets, now shadowed by loss. The search for answers continues, but the feeling of loss lingers. Everyone wants to know who is responsible for this tragedy. As the police dig deeper, they realise that this case is more complex than it first appeared. The investigation leads them down a dark path, revealing connections to other cases in the area. Local media picks up the story, drawing attention to the case and the community's grief. News reports flood the airwaves, and the public becomes invested in finding justice for the victim. This attention brings both hope and fear. While many want answers, others worry about what those answers might reveal. As investigators piece together the evidence, they encounter various leads and tips from the public. Each new piece of information brings a mix of hope and disappointment. The community remains on edge, waiting for a breakthrough that feels just out of reach. The emotional burden is evident. Families grapple with their fears, and the innocence of childhood is forever altered. The once vibrant streets are now filled with whispers of tragedy. In time, the investigation begins to yield results. Detectives work tirelessly to connect the dots, and the community holds its breath hoping for justice. The search for answers is far from over, but the spirit of the young victim remains alive in the hearts of those who knew him. As the investigation unfolds, the community's resilience shines through the darkness. Neighbours band together, determined to support one another in the face of unimaginable grief. The bond they share grows stronger, and the hope for justice remains alive. This story is just beginning, and the journey toward healing and understanding is fraught with challenges. The memory of the young boy, full of life, will linger in the hearts of many. Stay tuned as we continue to follow the investigation, uncovering the twists and turns that lie ahead in this heartbreaking case. February 11th, 1927, New York. 4-year-old William Billy Gaffney disappears from his apartment hallway, reverberating through the neighbourhood. It starts as an ordinary day. Billy, full of energy, is last seen playing in the corridor, his laughter echoing through the building. But as the minutes pass, that joyful sound fades, replaced by an unsettling silence that signals something is wrong. Panic quickly sets in as his family searches every nook of their home, calling out for him, hoping to hear his familiar giggles again. Neighbours, noticing the commotion, join the frantic search, combing through nearby rooms and hallways, their voices rising in urgency. With each passing moment, the tension grows. Parents exchange worried glances, knowing that this playful child should be home by now. As hours slip away and the sun begins to set, the urgency intensifies. Friends and family spill into the streets, calling for Billy, their voices echoing against the backdrop of the gathering dusk. They knock on doors, desperately asking anyone if they've seen him. A heavy dread hangs in the air as the reality sinks in. Billy has disappeared. Finally, weighed down by fear, they contact the police. Uniformed officers arrive promptly, ready to take control of the situation. They dive into the investigation, questioning everyone about Billy's last known whereabouts. The officers jot down notes, their serious expressions reflecting the seriousness of the moment. The search shifts into a more organised effort, with police enlisting local residents, each person eager to help find the missing boy. As night falls, the search escalates. Police establish a perimeter around the area, illuminating the darkness with flashlights that pierce through the shadows, hoping to uncover any sign of Billy. The air crackles with desperation. Each flicker of light searches for a trace of the young boy, yet the darkness seems to thicken, wrapping around them, making the search feel even more daunting. The community bands together, united by fear and concern. Parents cling to their children, whispering reassurances as they try to calm their own rising anxiety. This neighbourhood was once a safe haven, a place where children could play freely. Now, that sense of security feels crushed. Neighbours gather, sharing information and forming search parties, determined to find Billy before it's too late. The camaraderie is heartwarming, but it's overshadowed by an overwhelming dread. Days stretch on, and hope begins to wane. The grim reality that he may not return weighs heavily on everyone. The sense of loss settles in, and the community feels the impact deeply. Friends come together to support each other, sharing their fears and holding on to the hope that Billy will be found. The once vibrant laughter of children now feels like a distant memory, replaced by an unsettling silence that hangs over the neighbourhood. In hushed tones, whispers of fear ripple through the community. This disappearance feels interconnected with the recent tragedy of another young boy who vanished a few years earlier. Questions arise. Could there be a connection between these missing children? Investigators begin to explore the possibility of a pattern, leaving the community anxious and on edge. As the inquiry continues, police interview neighbours and search for clues, hoping to piece together the events leading to Billy's disappearance. The absence of the young boy serves as a haunting reminder of the fragility of childhood. The laughter that once filled the halls now feels distant, leaving a void that no one knows how to fill. The community watches closely, anxious for any leads that might bring answers, their hearts heavy with worry. Families gather, sharing meals and stories, trying to find solace in one another's company. Yet the fear lingers, a constant reminder that their children's safety could be at risk. Love and support flow among neighbours, but the shadow of uncertainty looms large, and the emotional toll of the situation weighs heavily on everyone involved. Billy's story is far from over. The search for answers continues, and the pressure of these recent disappearances hangs over the community like a dark cloud. The absence of a child, especially one so young, is a wound that doesn't heal easily. As days turn into weeks, the community remains vigilant, holding on to hope while struggling with the reality of their situation. People begin to wonder what could have happened to Billy and if they will ever uncover the truth. The emotional scars of this ordeal will linger long after the search concludes. The community stands together, united by fear but also by hope, ready to face whatever comes next. The echoes of laughter might be gone, but the spirit of determination remains strong. Everyone is eager to discover the truth, to understand the events that led to Billy's disappearance, and to ensure that no other family endures such a heart-wrenching experience. As the case develops, the story of William Billy Gaffney reveals itself to be more than just a single disappearance. It reflects the fears, hopes and resilience of a community that refuses to forget. The relentless search for answers continues, and the impact of this tragedy will land far beyond the neighbourhood. What will they uncover next? The journey is just beginning, and the quest for justice continues. On a sunny day in June 1928, a young girl plays at home, embodying the innocence and joy of childhood. The laughter of children fills the air, creating a backdrop of carefree bliss. Suddenly a man appears, introducing himself as Frank Howard. With a charming smile that seems genuine, he tells her about a surprise, a birthday party for his niece, just for her. This promise of excitement is too tempting for a young girl to resist. Eager and trusting, she leaves her home, unaware of the dark intentions hiding behind this seemingly innocent invitation. As they walk together, the sun shines brightly, casting warm rays that create an illusion of safety. Birds chirp above, and the neighbourhood hums with life. Yet beneath this cheerful exterior lies an ominous danger. The girl's family remains blissfully unaware that their little girl is being led away from the safety of their home by a stranger. The warmth of the day sharply contrasts with the chilling reality that will soon unfold. Hours pass, and she doesn't return. The cheerful noises of the neighbourhood fade, replaced by a growing sense of dread creeping into her family's hearts. When her family begins to worry about her absence, panic sets in quickly. They search the neighbourhood frantically, calling out her name, their voices filled with urgency and desperation. They knock on doors, asking neighbours if they've seen her, their hearts racing with each unanswered question. As the sun dips lower in the sky, tension mounts, and fear creeps in like a shadow, tightening its grip as they realise their daughter is missing. Familiar faces shift from casual greetings to concerned expressions, and anxiety thickens the air. They quickly decide to contact the police, and they are hoping for a swift resolution. But deep down, an unsettling feeling lingers. the fear that something terrible has happened. As night falls, the atmosphere shifts from worry to desperation. Officers arrive, their presence signalling the seriousness of the situation. Flashlights beam into the darkness, illuminating the worried faces of the community. They start taking notes, questioning everyone about the girl's last known moments. The neighbourhood unites, or bound by their concern for the little girl who has brought joy to their lives. Yet, the encroaching darkness heightens their fears, making the world outside feel more threatening. The once warm and welcoming streets now seem foreboding, as parents gather their children close, whispering reassurances that everything will be all right. Days drag on with no sign of Grace, and the weight of doubt weighs heavily on everyone. Friends and neighbours hold vigils, lighting candles in hopes of guiding her home. The flickering flames symbolise their hope, but deep down they know the reality may be far different. Each candle represents a prayer, a wish for her safe return, yet shadows seem to engulf them, reminding them of the uncertainty they face. The community comes together, sharing stories of Grace, each tale a reminder of her spirit and the laughter she brought to their lives. Investigators delve into the case. Piecing together what little information they can gather, they explore every lead, checking possible sightings, but the trail remains cold. The grim atmosphere shows the urgency of finding Grace. Everyone longs for news, yet the silence is deafening, amplifying their fears. Officers knock on doors, seeking any clue that might lead them closer to the truth. Neighbourhood children, once carefree, now look over their shoulders, a sense of vulnerability settling over them like a dark cloud. As the police continue their search, the neighbourhood unites in solidarity, clinging to the hope that Grace will be found safe. The shadow of fear looms over the area, a constant reminder of the dangers that lurk just beyond their front doors. Parents hold their children a little tighter, the innocence of childhood now tinged with anxiety. The laughter of children in the streets feels hollow, overshadowed by the memory of Grace's joyful spirit. Friends and family gather to share meals, but the chatter is subdued, filled with concerned glances and unspoken worries. In the midst of this turmoil, the investigators are relentless. They interview neighbours, gather evidence, and track down potential leads. But each passing day brings more heartache. Days stretch into a week, and the community's hope begins to wane. The search efforts are exhausting, with volunteers joining the police and combing through every inch of the area. The atmosphere is charged with tension, a clear sense of urgency as they all wish for a miracle. The once vibrant neighbourhood now feels like a shell, filled with echoes of laughter that have been replaced by whispers of fear. Gradually, the community becomes more than just a group of individuals. They form a collective united by their shared grief and concern. Vigils become a regular occurrence, where people gather to share stories about Grace and what she means to them. The flickering candlelight serves as a beacon of hope for those still searching. Yet, with each passing day, the reality that they may never see her again sinks deeper into their hearts. The streets, once alive with the innocence of childhood, now feel heavy with sorrow. As time drags on, the pressure of doubt becomes unbearable. The police continue to follow leads, but the case feels stagnant. Investigators work tirelessly, but the answers remain elusive. The community's anxiety transforms into a desperate need for answers. They cling to the hope that they will soon discover what happened, while the shadow of fear continues to hover ominously. The search for Grace is now a community effort, with everyone involved in the quest for truth. Stay close as we follow the investigation into Grace Budd's disappearance, uncovering the chilling details that will change everything. The search for Grace is just beginning, and the truth may be more horrifying than anyone could have imagined. A letter postmarked on November 11th described Grace's killing. The envelope contains an account of their daughter, Grace's fate. As the family gathers around the table, tension fills the air. They know this letter is no ordinary correspondence. It brings the grim reality of what has happened to Grace right into their living room. When they finally open the envelope, confusion and fear wash over them. The words describe the intentions of the man who lured Grace away, detailing the events surrounding her disappearance. As they read, disbelief quickly turns to horror. They struggle to comprehend the reality that their daughter may never return. Their home, once a place of comfort, now feels suffocating under the weight of their grief. Detective William King, who has been following leads in Grace's case, receives word about the letter shortly after it arrives. He understands that this could be a crucial piece of evidence. As he examines the paper and its handwriting, he notes the insignia printed on the stationery. This detail could be key in tracing its origins and potentially uncovering Grace's whereabouts. Hope flickers within him, knowing the community is counting on him for answers. Meanwhile, the Budd family, still reeling from the letter's contents, struggles to cope with their loss. Friends and neighbours rally around them, offering support in any way they can. They share stories of Grace, reminiscing about her laughter and the joy she brought into their lives. Each memory shared is both a comfort and a painful reminder of the void her absence has left. The letter casts a long shadow, a constant reminder of the pain and uncertainty enveloping them. As news of the letter spreads throughout the community, a renewed sense of urgency takes hold. It becomes clear that they are not just searching for Grace. They are confronting a nightmare that could touch any family. The neighbourhood, once a safe haven, now feels fragile. Parents hold their children a little closer, and conversations are laced with fear. Everyone remains on edge, waiting for the police to make a breakthrough that might bring Grace home. Investigators work around the clock, determined to piece together the mystery surrounding Grace's disappearance. They follow up on leads from the letter and interviewing anyone who might have information. Each conversation is a mix of hope and trepidation. Community members, once caught up in their daily routines, now find themselves engaged in a collective effort to support the Budd family. They hold vigils, lighting candles in Grace's name, with each flame representing a prayer for her safe return. The arrival of this letter marks a crucial turning point in the investigation. The Budd family's fight to find Grace intensifies, and they cling to the hope that justice will prevail. They know they must remain strong, even as the pressure of despair threatens to consume them. The community unites in their quest for answers, determined to uncover the truth behind this tragedy. As Detective King delves deeper into the investigation, he realises that the letter could reveal more than just Grace's fate. It may also uncover a dangerous predator lurking in their midst. The insignia on the stationery leads him to a boarding house, where he hopes to find the answers that have eluded them. The sense of urgency builds as the detective mobilises his team, gathering evidence and interviewing residents about the mysterious letter and the man behind it. The Budd family continues to navigate their grief while holding on to hope. They attend community meetings, where neighbours share updates on the search. There's an undeniable sense of determination in the air, with everyone willing to do whatever it takes to find Grace. Flyers are distributed, each one a lifeline to their daughter, hoping that someone, somewhere, might have information that could lead to her safe return. As days turn into weeks, the investigation remains stalled, and the community begins to feel the strain. Vigils continue, with candles lit each night, casting a soft glow against the cold darkness. The atmosphere is filled with a mix of hope and sorrow. As families come together to share their own stories of loss and love, the Budd family stands at the centre of this gathering, their strength inspiring those around them, even as their hearts ache with the uncertainty of Grace's fate. In the midst of this turmoil, Detective King finally gets a break. The leads from the letter start to connect, and he begins to piece together a clearer picture of what may have happened to Grace. His determination fuels the community's hope, reminding them that they are not alone in their search. This story is far from over, and the journey to uncover the truth will take unexpected turns. As the investigation deepens, the Budd family and their neighbours remain united, ready to face whatever comes next in their quest for justice. Stay with us as we continue to follow the path of this case, revealing what unfolds next. That same day, New York, New York. Detective William King is hard at work, meticulously tracing the Budd letter. His focus is on the distinctive stationery, a potential breakthrough in the investigation into Grace Budd's disappearance. The tension in the police department noticeably rises as he examines the envelope, searching for any clues that might lead him closer to finding Grace. The letter, filled with details about her fate, offers a flicker of hope amidst the darkness surrounding the case. As he studies the contents, the pressure of its implications settles heavily on him. King feels the weight of his responsibility. He knows this letter could be crucial in solving the mystery. Every detail counts, and the smallest clue might lead to significant developments. His eyes scan the insignia on the stationery, hoping it will help trace its origins. With renewed urgency, he starts reaching out to his contacts, determined to uncover the sender's identity and any information they might have about Grace's fate. As the investigation unfolds, King gathers his team for a meeting. They huddle in a small conference room, walls plastered with notes, photographs and maps. Each member shares insights and brainstorms how to trace the letter's origins. Every potential lead feels important, a thread that could pull them closer to the truth. They know time is critical in finding Grace, and the atmosphere is charged as they dive into the details, following the trail back to the boarding house linked to the stationery. Meanwhile, the Budd family is still reeling from the letter's content. Friends and neighbours rally around them, offering support as they navigate their grief. The community, still in shock, clings to hope that the detectives' efforts will yield answers. Candles are lit in homes, symbolising prayers for Grace's return. Each day brings a mix of dread and hope as everyone watches for any updates. The air is thick with anticipation, each family member holding on to the possibility that Grace might still be alive. King's determination fuels the investigation. He contacts the boarding house owners, asking pointed questions while searching for anyone who might know more about the letter's sender. The pressure mounts as he seeks to unravel the mystery behind the man who took Grace. He understands that finding this connection could change everything, potentially leading them to the truth. Every discussion is significant, and he takes careful notes hoping for a breakthrough. As the inquiry progresses, the community remains anxious. There's an intense sense of urgency. They cling to hope that the police will uncover something vital. Each conversation, each piece of evidence could lead to a breakthrough in the case. The detectives work tirelessly, assembling fragments of information that might provide clarity. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation, as all eyes are on the detectives waiting for news. In the days that follow, the investigation takes several twists. King's team digs deeper into the boarding house's history, searching for any connection to the man who lured Grace away. They interview residents, scrutinise records, and gather relevant information. Every scrap of data is analysed, and the detectives remain vigilant, knowing the truth is out there, waiting to be uncovered. The Budd family continues to hold gatherings, lighting candles and sharing memories of Grace. These gatherings become a source of strength, a way to keep her spirit alive. Neighbours stand together in their grief, embodying resilience as they hold on to hope. Children play in the streets, their laughter mingling with the sombre atmosphere, a clear reminder of the innocence lost. Detective King feels the urgency of the case, the community's expectations resting heavily on him and his team. He understands that every moment counts. As they gather new leads, he reflects on the importance of their work. They are not just investigating a crime, they are fighting for a little girl's life. The pressure mounts, but so does their resolve. They are determined to find Grace, no matter how long it takes. This moment in the investigation is critical. As Detective King and his team piece together the puzzle, they sense they are on the brink of something significant. The search for Grace Budd is about to take a crucial turn. With every lead they follow and every detail they uncover, the possibility of finding her grows stronger. The tension in the air is palpable, a collective breath held by the community. waiting for the detectives to bring them answers. As the days turn into weeks, King remains focused. He knows that the truth often hides in the details. His relentless pursuit of justice drives him forward, even as the pressure to deliver results builds. The Budd family and the community continue to support him, yet their hope unwavering. They stand together, united in their quest for answers, ready to confront whatever darkness lies ahead. Stay with us as we follow the next steps in this distressing investigation, where new details are about to emerge. The journey to uncover the truth behind Grace Budd's disappearance is just beginning, and each moment brings them closer to the answers they seek. December the 13th, 1934, New York, where Albert Fish is taken into custody by detectives who have traced the stationery used for the Budd letter. The atmosphere in the police station buzzes with anticipation. Officers know they might finally be closing in on a suspect linked to the disappearance of Grace Budd. As news of Fish's arrest spreads, tension fills the precinct. Officers exchange knowing glances, each aware that this moment could change everything. Fish, frail and quiet, sits in an interrogation room, his thin frame nearly disappearing into the chair. Stark lighting casts shadows across his face, emphasizing the lines of age and wear. Detectives gather around, urgency driving their actions. They review the letter that revealed Grace's fate, a crucial piece of evidence against him. The insignia on the stationery connects him to a boarding house, a lead that could unlock more answers about his past. As questioning begins, the tension thickens. Detective William King steps forward, and calmly explaining how they traced the letter. Fish listens, his expression revealing nothing, but the stakes are high. King presses him about Grace and the events surrounding her disappearance. With each question, detectives lean in, hoping to catch any sign of guilt. The air feels charged, as if everyone in the room knows the truth is within reach. Soon, Fish breaks. His confession spills out, detailing how he lured Grace away from her home under false pretenses. He describes the birthday party ruse, the invitation that drew her away from safety. His words fall like heavy stones, exposing the horror that has haunted the community for so long. King takes notes, his heart racing as they edge closer to the truth. The confession paints a chilling portrait of a man who embodies evil, sharply contrasting the innocence of the children he preyed upon. In the days that follow, Fish's confession becomes central to the investigation. Police work tirelessly to corroborate his statements and gather more evidence. Each new detail adds to the grim picture of a man who targeted innocent children. As detectives sift through Fish's past, they uncover connections to other unsolved cases, deepening the chilling narrative. Families unite in their grief, offering comfort and solidarity as they seek justice for their lost children. The environment is charged with both hope and sorrow as they confront the reality of what has happened. The community remains vigilant as updates on Fish's confession circulate, shock and anger rippling through neighbourhoods that once felt safe. Parents hold their children a little tighter, aware that danger can lurk in unexpected places. Vigils are held in memory of Grace and other missing children, candles flickering in the night as families gather to honour their lost loved ones. Each flame represents a prayer, a wish for justice, and a plea for safety. Meanwhile, Detective King and his team continue their investigation, pursuing leads that could connect Fish to other cases. They interview witnesses, sift through records, and canvass neighbourhoods, building a timeline that reveals Fish's movements. Every detail counts. Every piece of information could be the key to unlocking the truth about Grace's fate. As days turn into weeks, the pressure mounts on the police department. The public demands answers, and detectives feel the weight of their duty. King knows this case is about more than solving a crime. It's about restoring a sense of security to a shaken community. With each passing day, the urgency intensifies, and the detectives remain focused, determined to bring closure to the Budd family and others affected by Fish's actions. The investigation uncovers a pattern of Fish's acts. As they delve deeper, they discover the stories of other missing children, adding to the growing horror and painting a picture of a predator who operated with chilling impunity. The community's shared grief deepens, and the desire for justice intensifies. Friends and neighbours gather in prayer, lighting candles and sharing stories of the children taken too soon. The community strengthens its ties in the face of shared grief, forming a network of support that bolsters their resolve. Fisher's arrest ignites media attention and public interest, and as the community braces for the upcoming trial, determined to seek justice for the victims. Newspapers report on every development, headlines filled with the names of the children and the details of Fisher's confession. The case becomes a rallying point for the community, a symbol of their fight against the darkness that has invaded their lives. This story is far from over. The quest for justice is just beginning, and the truth behind Grace Budd's tragic fate will continue to unfold, revealing more about the darkness that has invaded their lives. As the investigation moves forward, Detective King and his team remain focused, determined to bring closure to the families impacted by this horrific series of events. The community, though shaken, stands resolute, ready to face whatever comes next in their pursuit of justice. Stay with us as the story unfolds further, revealing both the depths of human depravity and the resilience of those seeking justice. The next chapter promises to be just as intense and revealing. A significant moment in this tragic case occurs when a local newspaper features Grace Budd's photograph, marking a clear reminder of her fate. Her innocent smile sharply contrasts the dark reality surrounding her disappearance. As news of the article spreads, the community feels the weight of the tragedy, drawing attention to a heartbreaking story that has captivated many. Families gather in their living rooms, reading the article aloud, their hearts heavy with sorrow. The chilling details of the letter revealing Grace's fate and Albert Fisher's confession weigh heavily on their minds. They struggle to process the horror that has unfolded in their neighbourhood. Conversations turn hushed, filled with disbelief and grief, as they remember the vibrant little girl who brought joy to so many. The atmosphere feels heavy with sadness, and the grim reality settles in, leaving a void that is hard to articulate. The Budd family, still reeling from the events that have shattered their lives, receives an outpouring of support from neighbours and friends. The community rallies around them, offering comfort and solace as they navigate this unbearable chapter. They find strength in one another, sharing memories of grace during gatherings that feel more like solemn vigils than celebrations. Candles are lit in her memory, their soft glow symbolising hope amid despair. The flickering flames create a warm light in the darkness, representing the community's unwavering spirit to remember Grace and seek justice. Detective King continues to work tirelessly, knowing that every detail matters in this complex case. He reviews evidence, hoping to uncover more about Fisher's connections and any other potential victims. Files are spread out across his desk, marked with notes and leads that he diligently follows. The weight of responsibility hangs over him, but he feels the community's support urging him onward. Each lead he follows could be crucial in the pursuit of justice, and he knows families are counting on him to bring answers to light. As the media spotlight remains firmly on Fish, and the case surrounding Grace Budd, stories flood the papers, each bringing new attention to the ongoing pursuit of justice. With every published article, people across the nation become more invested and are feeling a connection to Grace and the tragedy that unfolded in their neighbourhood. The Budd family's pain transcends their immediate community, igniting a sense of urgency in the fight for safety and justice for all children. The Budd family begins to hold regular vigils, where community members come together to share stories and express their sorrow. Each gathering feels like a healing space, a moment to honour Grace's memory. Neighbours bring flowers, homemade meals, and words of comfort, reminding the family that they are not alone in their grief. This solidarity acts as a balm, soothing the raw edges of their heartache. Meanwhile, Detective King faces mounting pressure as he digs deeper into Fisher's past. He knows that the investigation is not just about Grace, it's about ensuring that no other child suffers the same fate. King interviews boarding house owners and residents, piecing together Fisher's movements and looking for any signs of other missing children. Now, his determination is electrifying. He is fueled by the hope of bringing closure to families who have suffered similar losses. As the weeks go by, media coverage continues to intensify. New headlines emerge almost daily, each one keeping the story alive in the public consciousness. This ongoing attention helps maintain pressure on law enforcement to act swiftly. Community members discuss the articles at local coffee shops and in their homes, emphasising the importance of vigilance and safety for their children. Amid the sorrow, some community members take action, organising neighbourhood watch programmes and safety workshops. They want to ensure that no child feels the fear that Grace experienced. There's a sense of empowerment in coming together, united by a common cause, protecting their children and ensuring that their community remains a safe place to grow up. This is only the beginning of a long journey toward healing. The community stands united, determined to ensure that no child suffers such a fate again. As they search for answers, the impact of Grace Budd's story continues to ripple outward, reminding everyone of the innocence lost and the darkness that can lurk in plain sight. While the Budd family grapples with their grief, they also begin to reflect on the importance of cherishing the moments they shared with Grace. They tell stories of her laughter, her love for playing with friends, and her curious nature. These recollections become both a tribute to her life and a reminder of what they are fighting for, the safety and happiness of all children. As the investigation unfolds further, the community's resolve only strengthens. They plan more vigils and discussions, turning their shared grief into a movement aimed at change. The voices of the Budd family and their supporters echo the urgent need for vigilance and awareness, ensuring that Grace's story is never forgotten. The case develops further as we continue to follow the investigation, diving deeper into the challenges that lie ahead in this heartbreaking case. The quest for justice is just beginning, and the community is ready to stand firm in their commitment to seek answers and ensure the safety of their children. The trial of Albert Fish begins, capturing the public's attention. Spectators fill the courtroom, eager to witness the proceedings of a case that has gripped the nation. As the judge takes their place at the bench, an electric tension fills the air, a mix of hope and dread clear among the crowd. Families affected by the tragedies, reporters and curious onlookers fill the space, each anxious to hear the details that will unfold. Whispers and muffled conversations swirl around, showing the seriousness of the moment. Detective William King sits in the front row, his gaze fixed on the proceedings. He understands the strain of this trial, knowing that the outcome could shape the future of the community. The press has extensively covered the case, and anticipation hangs thick in the air. Reporters jot down notes, ready to capture every significant detail. The courtroom, with its wooden benches and creaky floors, feels like a stage where the drama of justice is about to unfold. This trial is not just about seeking justice for Grace Budd, as it embodies the community's fight against fear and the vulnerability that has lingered since her disappearance. As the trial commences, the prosecution presents the facts, detailing Fisher's actions. Each piece of evidence reveals more about the man behind these crimes. Photographs of Grace, once a symbol of innocence, are displayed, sending waves of sorrow through the audience. The emotional toll is evident on the faces of those attending, especially the Budd family, who sit quietly facing their grief as they hear the accounts of their daughter's fate. Tension mounts as witnesses recount their experiences, and the courtroom listens intently, hanging on every word. The courtroom buzzes with anticipation as Fisher's defense team enters an insanity plea during the trial. The seats fill with people, their faces reflecting a mix of curiosity and dread. The judge presides over the proceedings, and the jury braces for what promises to be a gripping legal battle. This plea aims to shift the focus from Fisher's actions to his mental state, suggesting he wasn't fully aware of the crimes he committed. The defence lays out their strategy, presenting evidence to illustrate Fish's troubled mind. Expert witnesses take the stand, ready to share insights into his history of mental illness. The courtroom listens closely as these professionals describe a man haunted by demons, revealing a life filled with psychological struggles. They aim to evoke sympathy from the jury, framing Fish as a victim of his own mind, hoping to sway the decision in his favour. On the other side, the prosecution is equally prepared. Their experts emphasise the nature of Fish's crimes, arguing that understanding his mental state doesn't excuse the acts he committed. They remind everyone of the pain inflicted on the victims and their families. Tension hangs in the air as both sides present their arguments, each resonating through the courtroom and reflecting the community's deep desire for justice and closure. Throughout the trial, the Budd family sits in the gallery, their hearts aching with sorrow. They listen intently, struggling with the horror of what happened to Grace. Each testimony serves as a painful reminder of their loss, and they cling to one another, seeking strength amid their shared grief. The emotional burden is evident on their faces, revealing the depth of their anguish. This trial has become a painful chapter in their lives, but they remain determined to see justice served for Grace and honour her memory. As the trial unfolds, the audience is captivated. Fish's actions have sparked outrage and fear in the community, making every witness and piece of evidence crucial. The courtroom drama reveals the complexities of the human mind and the impact of crime on innocent lives. Each day brings new developments, and the quest for truth continues. The stakes have never been higher, and the community watches closely, hoping for a resolution that might bring some sense of peace. Witness after witness takes the stand, recounting details that send chills through the room. The prosecution highlights the brutality of the crimes, the chilling nature of Fish's confessions, and the anguish of the families affected. They paint a vivid picture of the suffering endured by Grace Budd and her loved ones. Meanwhile, the defence strives to humanise Fish, focusing on his mental health struggles and the factors influencing his actions. Their strategy hinges on the idea that understanding Fish's psyche could lead to a more compassionate verdict. The courtroom takes on a life of its own in this unfolding drama. Wooden benches creak under the weight of the audience's collective tension. Lawyers shuffle papers, the sound echoing in the silence as the judge calls for order. Flickering lights cast shadows across the faces of those present, amplifying the sombre mood. It's a space where justice is sought, but also where deep emotional scars are laid bare. As the trial progresses, the Budd family's resolve remains strong. They share whispered conversations, exchanging glances filled with unspoken fears and hopes. They know the outcome could affect not just their lives, but the lives of other families in the community. Their determination to seek justice for Grace fuels their courage to face each day in the courtroom. The community's reaction is clear, with many attending the trial and some holding signs in support of the Budd family. Vigils are organised outside the courthouse, where candles are lit in remembrance of Grace and other victims. The atmosphere outside reflects hope for justice, while inside the legal battle rages on. Each day the tension builds and the stakes grow higher. As the days turn into weeks, the courtroom drama unfolds with its own rhythm. Testimonies are given, evidence is presented, and emotions run high. The complexities of the legal system become evident, with each side fighting fiercely for their narrative. The prosecution seeks to hold Fish accountable for his actions, while the defence attempts to shield him with claims of insanity, creating a clash that captivates everyone involved. This chapter in the story of Grace Budd and Albert Fish is just beginning, and the fight for justice will shape many lives. With the stakes so high, the courtroom becomes a battleground for truth, and the outcome remains uncertain. The community watches, holding its breath, hoping the legal system will deliver the justice they seek. The echoes of their hopes and fears fill the air, intertwining with the solemnity of the proceedings. As the trial continues, the emotional burden of the case grows heavier. The Budd family's grief is a constant presence. reminding everyone of the human cost of Fisher's actions. Each moment in the courtroom carries the weight of their loss, a reminder that behind the legal arguments are real people whose lives have been forever changed. The quest for justice is not just about the verdict. It's about finding a way to heal, remember, and honour those who have suffered. With each passing day, the community's resolve strengthens, and the quest for truth remains at the forefront. The courtroom drama captures not just the legal battle, but also the broader implications for families, communities, and society. The fight for justice for Grace Budd is far from over, and as the trial unfolds, everyone knows the outcome will land long after the final gavel falls. As the defence drives home its strategy, the focus shifts to Fisher's mental state, or they argue he was not fully aware of his actions, attempting to elicit sympathy from the jury. Reactions ripple through the audience. Whispers and gasps punctuate the air. Some spectators shake their heads in disbelief, while others exchange worried glances. The stakes are incredibly high, with both sides fiercely fighting for their narratives. The prosecution emphasises the brutality of Fisher's actions, reminding everyone that understanding his mental state does not excuse the pain he has caused. Throughout the proceedings, the atmosphere fluctuates between tension and sorrow. Witness after witness takes the stand, sharing their experiences and painting a vivid picture of the pain caused by Fisher's actions. Their testimonies land deeply, echoing the community's desire for closure and justice. The audience listens with bated breath, some even wiping away tears as they hear the details. As memories are recounted, the heaviness of reality settles over everyone present, a sharp reminder of the lives forever altered by Fisher's crimes. As the trial continues, local residents rally around the Budd family, their support unwavering. Vigils persist outside the courthouse, where flames glow in remembrance of Grace and other victims, uniting the community in their quest for justice. Each candle's glow offers hope amid despair, a beacon of light in the darkness that has enveloped the neighbourhood. Families gather, holding signs and sharing stories, determined to ensure that Grace is not forgotten. The emotional complexity surrounding this case is evident. Hope and despair intertwine, reflecting the community's struggle to make sense of their loss. The courtroom drama captivates everyone present. Each testimony reveals more about the impact of Fisher's crimes, echoing through the hearts of grieving families. The Budd family bearing their grief occupies the gallery, feeling the pressure of every word. Their pain is clear, yet they remain resolute in their pursuit of justice. As the trial unfolds, the community holds its breath, waiting for justice to be served. The collective heart of the neighbourhood beats in unison, driven by the desire to see Fish held accountable for his actions. Media coverage intensifies, with newspapers reporting on the trial's developments. A local publication features Grace Budd's photograph, a clear reminder of the young girl's fate. Families across the neighbourhood gather to read the article, their hearts heavy with sorrow as they process the chilling details surrounding her disappearance. The Budd family find support from neighbours and friends, who come together to hold vigils in Grace's memory. Candles glow in remembrance and prayers are offered, creating a sense of unity in their grief. This moment serves as a rallying point for local residents, igniting a movement for change and awareness. As the trial moves forward, the defence presents expert witnesses who testify about Fisher's troubled mind, hoping to evoke sympathy from the jury. The prosecution counters by emphasising the brutality of Fisher's actions, arguing that understanding his mental state does not excuse his crimes. The Budd family sits in the gallery, their emotional burden evident as they seek justice for their daughter. The courtroom becomes a battleground for narratives, with both sides fiercely advocating for their beliefs. The complexities of the legal battle unfold, and the emotional load of the case grows heavier, reminding everyone of the human cost behind the legal proceedings. The trial captivates the community, with many attending and holding vigils in support of the Budd family. The courtroom is filled with spectators, their faces reflecting a mix of determination and sorrow. Outside, chants and prayers fill the air, a testament to the local residents' resilience. As testimonies unfold, the emotional stakes rise, and the quest for justice for Grace Budd continues, resonating deeply within the hearts of those touched by this tragedy. Stay with us as we follow this unfolding story, as diving deeper into the legal complexities and emotional moments that lie ahead in the pursuit of justice for Grace Budd and the other victims affected by Fish's actions. The journey is far from over, and the neighbourhood remains steadfast in their mission for truth and accountability. In a courtroom thick with tension, the jury prepares to deliver its verdict in the case of Albert Fish. This trial has captured the attention of families and the local community, the US Ostapen, all affected by the details surrounding Fish's actions. As the minutes crawl by, the air is charged with a mix of hope and dread. People sit on the edge of their seats, some clutching hands tightly, while others fix their eyes on the judge, their faces revealing a storm of emotions. When the foreman finally rises, a hush envelops the room. The collective breath of those present seems to freeze in time. All eyes are on him as he readies to announce the decision that will determine Fish's fate. Clearing his throat, he utters the word guilty, and it echoes through the courtroom like a thunderclap. Relief washes over the families affected by Fish's acts. The Budd family in particular feels the weight of his decision. They release a collective sigh, tears streaming down their faces, a blend of sorrow and hope. After enduring the emotional turmoil of the trial, this verdict signifies a crucial step toward healing, a glimmer of justice for their beloved Grace. Outside the courthouse, the mood shifts dramatically as news of the verdict spreads. Supporters of the Budd family gather in the streets, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of candles. They light these candles not only in memory of Grace, but also to stand in solidarity with her family and all the victims of Fish's crimes. Each flickering flame symbolises unwavering hope and determination to ensure that the lives lost to Fish are not forgotten. The resolve of local residents strengthens, united by a shared commitment to protect the children in their neighbourhoods. Detective William King, who has devoted countless hours to this case, observes from the back of the courtroom. He knows this verdict means more than just a legal judgment. It represents a neighbourhood's fight against fear and a promise to safeguard their children. Reflecting on the long hours spent gathering evidence and interviewing witnesses, he feels a bittersweet sense of closure. While the verdict brings some relief, it also highlights the pain that many families have endured. In the days that follow, the impact of the trial hits home throughout the neighbourhood. Families come together to hold vigils in memory of Grace Budd and the other victims whose lives were tragically cut short. They share stories and memories, ensuring that Grace and the other children are never forgotten. Local residents rally, organising events to raise awareness about child safety and the importance of vigilance. Conversations shift toward how they can create a safer environment for their children, transforming their grief into a powerful movement for change. The journey toward healing is just beginning. Together, the neighbourhood is determined to confront the challenges ahead while honouring the memories of those they've lost. The quest for justice continues, echoing in the hearts of all who were touched by this tragedy. The Budd family, while still grappling with grief, views this moment as a catalyst for change. They recognise that their fight has inspired others to take action, to remain vigilant, and to ensure that such horrors never happen again. In the weeks that follow, the community organises safety workshops and neighbourhood watch programmes, driven by a newfound sense of responsibility. They understand that while justice has been served in the courtroom, the real work lies in creating a safer world for their children. Memorial gatherings become a regular occurrence, allowing families to come together, reflect on their losses, and support one another. Each flicker represents not just a memory of those who are lost, but also a commitment to protect the future. As the seasons change, so too does the spirit of the neighbourhood. The pain of loss remains, but it is now intertwined with a determination to prevent similar tragedies. Schools invite speakers to discuss child safety, encouraging families to engage in open conversations about trust and awareness. The Budd family, now at the forefront of this movement, shares their story, hoping to educate others about the lurking dangers. Through it all, Detective King remains a steady presence, supporting the Budd family and local residents. He recognises the significance of this moment, and not just for the families affected, but for the entire neighbourhood. As he reflects on the trial and its aftermath, he understands that the fight against fear and violence is ongoing. The verdict may have brought some closure, but the path towards safety and healing is a long one. Ultimately, the story of Grace Budd and the other victims serves as a clear reminder of life's fragility and the importance of community. The lessons learned from this tragedy land deeply, while urging everyone to stay vigilant and proactive in protecting their loved ones. The quest for justice is never truly over. It evolves into a commitment to honour those lost by fostering a safer future. As this chapter closes, the neighbourhood stands united, ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead, while ensuring that the memories of Grace and others are forever cherished. The journey toward healing and justice may be difficult, but they are resolute in their pledge to prevent such horrors from happening again. Join us as we explore the ongoing impact of this case and the efforts to create a safer world for children.